Hey there.
What are you doing up here?
It is the student training the trainer. This is all backwards.
Well, we're going to go out and whole lot of ones here and play around a little bit. Weather's cold. It's about 40 degrees, so chance of ice up there, but we're not going real high.
Yeah, and this Southern California boy is not used to it.
No, that's for darn sure. So we'll have some fun. Then we're going to go have lunch down at Tacoma Narrows.
That'll be worth it.
Absolutely. I'm Eric Reese. I sell real estate for a living, but I fly and instruct in the Aerostar for fun. Join us on our travel and training adventures in the world's fastest light piston twin.
Aerostar, 111 cross Yaku at 5,000, cleared for the GPS 8 approach, William Mark Fairtown.
Hey, 111 cross Yaku at or above 5,000 feet, cleared for the approach. Okay, coming up on Yaku, 1.6 miles. It's going to make a right turn. We should see a warning there that tells us to make that turn in a number of seconds.
Anticipation banner on the Garmin.
Yep. And I can go down to 4,700 in that hold if I wish. There it is, hold parallel. That's what I expected.
Anticipation banner right there.
Okay, 3/10 of a mile. I'm gonna watch to make sure it turns. There it goes. That's good. I'm gonna kick it out of altitude. I'm just gonna push it down, not super fast. Come on back a little bit more on the power. Maybe 21 inches. This will hold the pressurization okay. All right, it's a 5-mile hold.
You've got the pressurization set to the final approach fix altitude.
Actually, a little bit below that on this one.
Okay.
That's where I would normally set it.
Okay, so about 21 inches, 2,200 RPM, indicating 160, going down about 500 feet a minute with flaps 20. 342 IFR cancellation, team maintain feet, phone, your current code flight phone. Roger, 5%, and you can see that the hold is the active segment there.
I'm going to go through another checklist here, so I'm going to run across from left to right, so the lights are on, pumps are on, fuel pumps are going to go on, fuel's on, and we're armed over here.
Got it. Scorp 11, descend and maintain 3,000 form, landing check 18 miles east subfield. Okay, so we're outbound on the parallel, entry.
So one of the things that's interesting with this is like, it says hold there. I don't know whether it's going to hold or not, but you have to know that. You got to know what your navigator's going to do, and sometimes it just takes going out and experimenting with it.
Right.
And if worst come to worst and it doesn't work, go to heading mode.
Right.
I can take this heading and flip it to the inbound heading just for the heck of it, which is 088. Just in case.
Yeah, and you notice what's right after the hold is the final approach fix, which means you got to get established prior.
Yep.
Otherwise you're going to miss the approach.
Okay, we got about 1 mile before it'll start to make the turn back inbound. It'll make a turn big enough to where it's going to do an intercept. Now, we have a pretty good tailwind out here, big one. So that's going to mean that I'm going to have to reduce my manifold pressure quite a bit.
To maintain 1,800, turn right heading 270 and stand by. Good point.
To maintain speed and continue with the descent rate that I need. So the descent rate's going to be a bit higher. Okay, there's the turn. That's good.
You are clear right.
Okay.
Buddy at all out there? Then 140 knots. Still clear right.
Yeah, I like this speed, set up about 21 inches of manifold pressure. 2,200 RPM, that works good.
And flaps 20.
And I'm about 40 feet low on my altitude, but I'm not going to fiddle with that. does this kind of do? It looks to me, I can't tell. This is what you want to be prepared.
Continue around and intercept the inbound.
It should continue.
4606 November Delta, do you have a flight plan on file back to Renton?
See that the hold is still the active portion of the...
Yep, and it is doing what I expected it to do.
Good.
That's what you got to look for, is to make sure that it's coming around, because if it's going to go back into the hold, then I got to do some stuff, basically go back to manual, fly with the heading bug, intercept it.
Exactly. And so we should see that Akubi final approach fix go magenta after we pass it.
All right, so inbound, we still have to stay at 30 or 4,700 feet here until Yaksu.
This is where centering the heading bug and just hitting
there it goes. Select approach mode. It's already telling me I can do that. So I went into approach. I've got the glide slope alive, and it has sequenced. So that's exactly what I'm looking for.
Got the magenta line from hold to Okubi. So here's where you couldn't do, and you got LPV.
There's no reason to do it at this point because I already have glide slope indication. And yeah, it's already coupled, and this flags it.
Sweet.
Triple one going advisory, and we'll talk to you on the outbound.
Wait, where's your glide path indicator?
Right here.
The blue. Got it. Excellent.
I can do this, I think. Let's see. Not that one, it's this one. Whoops. Oh, I'm going to screw myself up if I do this. There we go. Now it's back.
From the very bottom of your screen, the blue is the CDI for the HSI.
There's a way to get it up in the normal T. Well, let me talk to these guys. Oh, I should be going down to 35. No, I'm not. There we go. There's a glide slope intercept. So what happens here is the gear's going to come down.
All center gear down.
3 in the green. I got to return the prop sync off. The props are going to go full forward.
Got the nose gear in the mirror.
Okay, and I'm going to go mixture full rich, and I'm going to bring the manifold pressure back to about 14 inches. And what I'm shooting for is 120 knots. Normally I'd come back to about 15, 16 with no wind, but since I've got this big tailwind, I'm going to need more rate of descent. So we are on glide slope, on glide path. Airspeed's coming down to where I need it. I can come back just a hair more. Okay, gears down, flaps down, pumps on, off. Hydraulic pump is armed.
I don't see anybody ahead of us, and we're monitoring CTAF, right?
Yeah. Port Angeles traffic, Aerostar 11111 is on the GPS. 08 approach, low approach only, and we're currently about 5 miles out. 15 miles out. Alright, everything's looking good. Airspeed's nailed. On glide path. On glide slope.
Don't see any flags.
No flags.
We're nice and stabilized. And decision altitude again is
505.
505.
I'm going to reset this to 5400, which is the altitude on the mist they want us to go to, and then this approach is
great idea.
Basically straight out until we get to 1,000 feet, and then it's direct water.
I see on your autopilot annunciator shows coupled, approach, and glide slope.
Yep, I did look at it, I did call it out. Sometimes when we're doing these videos, it's kind of hard to do all of that stuff.
It is.
When it gets busy.
It is.
Okay. So, you know, it's interesting. I'd say 120 knots, and really I'm looking at blue line, although that is really meaningless for this. So generally it ends up being between between 115 and 120 is where the approach speed ends up, and that works out pretty darn well.
Oh, an outer marker indicator here. You actually have an outer marker, huh?
There's still an outer marker here, yep.
Well, I'll be. I suppose had we had the appropriate button, we would have heard it.
Yeah, and as we get lower, the winds are going to pick up a little bit, and they're going to get gusty, so I'm going to come up a little bit on the manifold pressure and maintain that 120. Okay, we're still on glide slope. Everything's looking good. 1,800 to go. Showing 1850 above the ground. Now the airspeed picked way back up again. We'll adjust that with power. And Port Angeles traffic, Aerostar 111 is on a 4-mile final low approach only, Port Angeles.
Stabilize, gears down 3 green.
Okay. $500 to go. Right, of course, it's correct.
500.
Gears down.
Press the go around button, that kicks the autopilot off. On up, full power, pitch up, full 120. Wait till we cross the approach end of the runway and we'll switch to suspend. I'm going to switch out of suspend. We're going to go to 1,000 feet on this heading. Correct off to the right a little bit. And get the gear up. And the flaps up. Should have done that a little bit earlier, but it still works. Here's 1,000 feet. Go here to water. Direct enter, enter. Put it back into GPS steering. Boom. GPS steering is there. Recorrect back off to the right. And correct for the wind drift correction.
We're getting tossed around a bit, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. And go back to heading, flight director on. Airplane does climb.
It sure does.
And still in heading mode. Why is that? There we go. Would be approach Aerostar 111, 111 out of 2800 on this direct waters.